Now we want to take the information we got about the part we were drawing, and we want to create an isometric box. So from our step 1, we know that the box is 5 by 8 by 10. It is 8 units wide, 5 units deep, and 10 units tall. So when we make our isometric axis, we want them to be, the shape we want, which is anywhere from 30 to 40 degrees from horizontal, 30 to 60 degrees from horizontal. One should be higher than the other. And we're looking for proportionality. So we're not drawing to any scale, but it does have to be proportional. You got to really pay attention to the lines to make sure that those lines are parallel. And if that's 5 on the side, that looks right for it being 8 tall. And of course, if it's not, you just make corrections as you go along. And now we want the top line to be parallel with that axis there where the 5 is, and we want it to be about the right height. So again, it's not a perfect process, but you're constantly going back and evaluating and making adjustments. And you also want to lightly put in that back edge just so you have an idea where those back corners are. So when you start creating things, they're hitting the right spots. So now that we've got the box in and they're the right dimensions, and you're satisfied with them. Obviously, you can always make them better, but you want it to be. You're also dealing with time. Time is important. Now, I always like to get some stuff in so you can actually begin to see this thing visualize, or you get too many lines there and that gets confused. So this is 1 unit tall. So if that looks like about 1/10 of the height. So I'm just sketching in some lines to indicate that. And again, I can't turn my paper. You would turn your paper, but I've got this kind of clipped down to my tabletop, so it's a little awkward, but just turn your paper. And I find that if you stick your pencil out longer, you can make straighter lines instead of holding it close. And remember, the corners are radius, so I kind of try to estimate what that would be and put that in, just so we can begin to visualize this. When you first do this, your mind kind of plays tricks, and you see it and then you lose it. But as you darken it in, your brain is able to envision what you're doing. So that's the base. Now we know we got to get this in, and it's easy to draw a box. So I want to find where the center of that is, and then kind of use the same techniques we did on the orthographic view. So here it would be the center of that, and then half of that, if this is 8 across, half would be 2. So then 2 on one side, 2 on the other side, that would be 4. And I know it doesn't go all the way to the front. So I'm going to come down now just so I can visualize where that front face would be. And I'm starting with a box because a box is just easier to draw. If you were experienced, you could probably do this without boxing it in. But for me, I'm not that experienced. And so I'm just trying to box it in. It's not perfect. I could see I can make that a little better, but it's close enough. Okay, so now we're going to try to make a correction on that. It's a little off. I try not to erase, but sometimes you just old habits. So again, I'm taking that back, following about the lead from that top line, and I'm going to go ahead and take that all the way down to the bottom because I know it would go there. And that has a fillet, so that would go across to there. So I'm going to do the back edge of that. Well, now I'm going to find the center of that by going from midpoint to mid. So there's the center of where the circle is going to be. I'm going to go ahead and put that face in. Again, remembering one side you're kind of squashing in the corner, the other side is flatter, like that's the flat side. That back side, the lower left, lower right is kind of pushed into a corner. Now I can kind of project that back to where I think it would stop. From the top, as it comes down, it's going to follow that curve in the front. Now I can see where that's the front edge of that piece would start midway there and come down, and it will come out to here, and we're going to go ahead and put the fillet in. Looks like a little bit too much on this side, but we're going to make it work. And the back side, with foreshortening, sometimes things don't look the way they should, but that's all right. We're going to, there it would come down there. And you really see it when you draw that line on the bottom. Well, let me go ahead and draw this hole here. Again, darken it in. Now, when this will make sense is when I draw this line. That'll help you see what's going on. And then just darken that in. There's the bottom edge. And so, again, it's not perfect, but you can clean it up as you go around and darken it in. And this is about technique. And the key to this is drawing, maybe even drawing the same thing over and over 3 or 4 times to get it better, to get your technique better. Okay, thanks.